Alright, hey. Okay, so, question. What has been the biggest